Well, I was going to try to move the bus to get a little bit closer to the building where I can work on it, and started it up, let the air compressor kick on and charge up the air tanks, and then I tried disconnecting or turning off the parking brake, and one side stayed locked. I couldn't move anywhere, I couldn't go forward, couldn't go back. The left side rear tires were spinning, the right side were not. So I'm going to try to attempt to cage the brakes, is what it's called, and I'll show you guys how to do that from what I read here in just a bit. I'm going to crawl under here. I've got some wrenches, and yeah, so let's try to get it going. You cage your brakes when you're either being towed, so maybe you lose air pressure because you can't start your engine, so you can't disengage the air brakes or the emergency brake. So this is a way to do that. And then once again, what happened to me is it's been sitting here probably for about a month and a half. I did pressure wash underneath, so maybe some water maybe got in there. I don't know, it's maybe making metal surface not want to release. I don't know what it is, but we're going to try to get it released today. So this right here is part of the air brakes. You've got one on either side. You've got some smaller ones in the front. Typically, a car, most of its stopping power comes from the front brakes. But what you're looking at here is the rear brakes. So the rear brakes of larger vehicles, medium duty, heavy duty vehicles, I think it's what they were saying, 80% of the braking power actually comes from the rear brakes versus the front brakes, which kind of makes sense if you've got all that weight coming down on the front brakes on a heavy rig where maybe you're towing, I don't know, 70,000 pounds or 80,000 pounds, and you put all that pressure just on one axle. That's probably a bad thing. So what I'm going to do here is, if you see over here, you got this little bolt. I'm going to remove that nut, that washer, bolt here. I'm going to peel this cover off, and here it's supposed to be prevent mud. And I don't know if you can look in there. There's a little, so if you can kind of make out, there's a little T. That's where the end of this bolt will fit into, and we'll turn it 90 degrees, and then we'll put the bolt back on, tighten it down, and yeah, go from there. So that nut that's on there is a 3/4 inch. Crescent hammer. I can see that. Stanley makes this one. It's called a Fat Max, I think. But it actually is a crescent hammer. It's a crescent wrench with a hammer, and it's got a little pry tool. Anyway. If we can get that out of there. Alright. Pop that out. So there's that bolt. It's got a little T in the end. We're going to put that into there and basically make it fit in the other T slot, and then we're going to turn it there it is, it went in there. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees so it sits there. Now this is pretty important. So you have a washer and a nut that comes off. They said if you don't put the washer on and you put this nut on only and drive that nut down and try to tighten that nut will actually fit real nice right into that hole, and then you've got all kinds of trouble. So make sure that washer goes on. Put that nut on top of there. Tighten it down. think this is the emergency brake. You can tell look how thick that pad is. That's to back you up in case you lose air pressure. It engages itself and it'll slow you down. So if you're going downhill and you pump your brakes too many times and you don't have enough pressure, it's kind of an automatic system. However, you can still burn those out depending on how heavy you are and how fast you are and what the incline or decline is of the hill that you're coming down. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to disengage those, because that's why I can't move. The top one looks like it's free. The bottom one, not so much. So I'm gonna tap on it here and there, see what I can do. If you guys can see that. So I'm gonna strike right here on the drum. I got a 4-pound hammer. Alright, hopefully it'll pop free. The other side looks like it's close. I'll probably tap on it too. You want to have your wheels chock, so if you do release this, it doesn't start rolling on you. If it does, you better move out the way, because it will crush you. So I'm going to take a couple hits right. Tell, see a little bit slack right there. See that emergency brake pad's just tight on there. That one's actually got a little bit of a space. That's what you want. So I need to break that free, which should be fun because I'm beating it with a 4-pound hammer. So I'm gonna try this some more. See it? You saw it? There it is, pop free. Alright, so I should be able to move this thing.